Oh, what's good, Sixer Nation? DFJ Hoops here, back again with another live stream. Hold on. Let me take care of this right quick and let's begin the show. All right, here we go. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Salute to my guy BJ in the building. Appreciate you, bro. Says salute. I got y'all tonight. Sharp. Smash that like button. Yeah, y'all heard him. Please smash that like button as y'all come in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's get this popping. So I got a good show, and we're basically gonna preview the 76ers against the New York Knicks tonight, 7:30. So y'all gotta get y'all tickets if y'all gonna go to the game. Salute to Derillis. Appreciate you, bro. Says bro, Clippers, yeah, they started winning games, and now you all right. I see you. Yeah, salute to the realist though. But yeah, let me not waste any more time. Let me just get right into this. So the 76ers against the New York Knicks. Now the Knicks are gonna be on a back-to-back, a second half on the back-to-back. The first time they were playing on the back-to-back when they played us, which the 76ers ended up taking that game 116 to 107. Now the 76ers played a very, very good game, and the Knicks, on the other hand, were struggling, right? They struggled shooting the three, and they struggled with containing Tyrese Maxey. I think Maxey finished that game with, I think, 30 plus points, which, I mean, Maxey's always finishing, he's always getting 30 plus, 30 points in every game, which is very, very reasonable because Maxey has stepped his game up. He stepped his game up very, very well, and his impact is also very, very good for the 76ers as well. Salute to Tuna in Sports, Cavaliers Talk. Hey, BJ, you definitely gotta tap in. You gotta tap in with him because he does Cavaliers Talk. Um, but in that game, a lot of surprises were in that game. I mean, one of the big surprises that was in that game was Andre Drummond shooting and making, three threes, right? Which is very, very, it's not typical of Andre Drummond, right? Drummond, he'll make a three or two, just maybe sometimes just one three. But in that game, he was able to make three threes, right? And that really helped the Sixers a lot because the Sixers they shot a lot of threes and they made a lot of threes. I think the Sixers made like 17 threes in that game with Tyrese Maxey making six of them. Yeah, Andre Drummond made three. Paul George made one. VJ Edgecombe made three. And then you got guys off the bench. Justin Edwards made two threes. Quentin Grimes made a three. And Jared McCain also made one three. All right. So the Sixers, they shot the three ball very, very well compared to the Knicks who struggled from the 3-point line. I think the only person who made multiple threes for them was Mikal Bridges. Right. Um, yeah, Mikal Bridges made three threes, and then everybody else made just one, right? So they struggled from the 3-point line. Karl Anthony Towns couldn't buy a basket from the three. Jalen Brunson really struggled in that game, not just from the 3-point line, but in general, he struggled. Now, he was able to get his numbers, right, because he's guaranteed 20 plus shots a night. So he's definitely going to get his numbers. He's going to get to the free throw line. That's what he does, right? But from a 3-point shooting standpoint, the Knicks didn't shoot a lot. They didn't really shoot good from the three. So I don't think it's going to be the same thing tonight. I think it's definitely going to be different um, because what happened in the first game is not going to happen in the second game every single time. He says BJ, a Donovan Mitchell fan. He not really a Cavs fan, but respect. Nah, he a Cavs fan because I seen him. I seen him go back and forth with Big Tone. So I think he's definitely a Cavs fan. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, the Sixers gonna be on the road for sure. The Sixers on the road. Now, one thing that might work in the Sixers' favor is that the Knicks are, like I said, they're playing on the back to back. They played and lost to the Atlanta Hawks yesterday, which the Knicks started off the season with a very perfect home record, right? It was only until they went up against the 76ers and the Sixers were able to beat them on their home floor, right? And then last night you had the Atlanta Hawks also defeating them on their home court. Now, speaking of the Hawks, like the Hawks really play better without Trey Young, and it's very, very surprising to say because you would think Trey Young, being the player that he is, you would think his impact offensively would help the Atlanta Hawks win games. But this season, it's not the case, and they're doing well with those other guys. They're doing well with Jalen Johnson. I think Jalen Johnson had a triple double last night, which he's kind of like a walking triple double at this point. Every game that he's playing in, he's getting triple doubles. Right, him, Nickel Alexander Walker, who's playing very very well for them. Dyson Daniels and those all those other guys, they're playing very very well, and they were able to take down the Knicks last night. Now the Knicks, they were missing guys. Let's not forget about that. The Knicks were missing Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns didn't play, and which I think it's very very yeah, they lost to the Spurs too. Right, they lost to the Spurs. I think that was a couple days ago. Right, that was on Wednesday night. They lost to the Spurs. But Carl Anthony Towns, he's missed like he's always if it's a back to back and they're playing the Sixers, Carl Anthony Towns misses the first one and then he plays in the second one. Now, I mean that could be smart, right? That could be smart because you don't want to overexert him in those both games. Now we know for a fact Mikal Bridges is going to play, Jalen Brunson is going to play, OG Anunoby is going to play, and all those other guys are also going to play. Now, Mitchell Robinson is dealing with the knee injury, right? I don't know if he's gonna play in this one, but the first matchup, Mitchell Robinson was like a handful for the Sixers. The Sixers could not contain him. He was getting offensive rebounds. He came off the bench and gave the Knicks 20 plus points, right? He got to the free throw line, and surprisingly, he was making his free throws. Like he's not a very good free throw shooter, but against the Sixers, for whatever reason, he was making his free throws. Right. So I'm saying all of that to say that for the Sixers to beat the Knicks again for the second time on their home floor, number one, they have to make their shots. Right. They're gonna have to make their shots. He says that, yeah, but it was too much. Like, I mean, the last time we played them, right? It was just too much, especially him coming off the bench and then doing what he did. I mean, they pretty much could have won the game if they were shooting very very good from the 3 point line, but that wasn't the case, right? So number one, the Sixers have to make their shots, and that starts with Tyrese Maxey. Now, I know at this point, I kind of know what Maxey is going to give the Sixers on a game to game basis. Just looking at his track record this season, right? Looking at his track record. Now he's guaranteed a ton of shots, so he's definitely going to get to his numbers. Um, he plays very, very fast, and there's nobody on that Knicks team that can, keep up with him in the open floor, right? Because he's very, very fast. Now in the half court, I think Mikal Bridges, which that's going to be the primary defender on him. I think Mikal Bridges in the half court can, use his length, um, yeah, use his length, use his size to kind of help bother Maxi, even though Maxi's still very very good in the half court setting. But I think Mikal Bridges sometimes is able to use that length and use the strength to bother little guards. Right? We seen that a couple times. Right? We seen that a couple times. Now, Maxi against Mikal Bridges. I mean, last time Maxi won the matchup, he was able to drop 30 plus points. He was able to facilitate for the team as well. But I mean, I think VJ Edgecombe also being on the floor really helped Maxi a great deal because VJ was able to sometimes take over the playmaking duties and make it very, very easier on Maxi to a point where he only is focusing on scoring or either playmaking. He's not focused on doing the rest of them, right? He's not focused on doing two at the same time with VJ Edgecombe on the floor. Now, speaking of VJ, he had a good game against them, and basically had the game winning bucket. I mean, it was not a game winner, but what sealed the deal. VJ Edgecombe was the one that sealed the deal for the Sixers. Now, speaking of VJ, the Knicks, the last time they played, the Knicks started Jalen Brunson on VJ Edgecombe. Now, if you're VJ, that's a easier matchup that you have to exploit. And as the Sixers, as a team, as a unit, that's the matchup that we should be looking to exploit, right? Exploiting Jalen Brunson because he's not that good of a defender. He has slow feet. He can't move to keep anybody in front of him. Sometimes he does give effort, right? He does give effort. I'm not gonna say he don't give no effort, but he does give effort on the defensive side. But it still shouldn't mean much if you're going up against VJ. VJ is too fast, VJ is too athletic, and VJ is too big for him. Pause for him to be able to contain. So for the Sixers to win this, the number one game plan will be to attack Jalen Brunson on the defensive side of the floor. Now, I mean, it's a lot of people who the Sixers can attack as well. I mean, if Karl Anthony Towns is also going to play, going at Karl Anthony Towns, pulling him from the baseline, pulling him from under the rim, that could be very, very beneficial, right? Getting them to the 3-point line and then forcing him to guard, the Maxis, the VJ Edgecombs. That could be another good strategy, right? Because sometimes, excuse me, sometimes Karl Anthony Towns gets on the perimeter and he gets confused, right? He gets like on the island at the top of the key against some of these guys and he gets confused. He don't know whether he should drop. He don't know if he should play close to them. He don't know if he should step up and prevent them from driving. Like he gets really confused in those settings, right? He says the Allen Iverson bull. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, that's the game plan to hunt Jalen Brunson every single time, right? Especially in the half court setting, right? Get him on Maxi, get him on VJ Edgecombe, get him on Paul George, right? Get him on those guys because he can't guard any of those guys, right? I think that should be the game plan for the 76ers if they want to win this game. And the Sixers should win this game because they have almost everything in their favor, right? The Sixers are going to be healthier, they're going to be well rested, and then going up against a Knicks team that just played last night against the Atlanta Hawks, and probably it probably went down to the wire. I don't know, I didn't watch the game, but it probably went down to the wire. He says Towns is all about his offense. Yeah, yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, and we're gonna also focus on the Knicks too and how the Sixers can adjust defensively to try to keep them away, right? But Max, he's gonna have to hunt the Jalen Brunson matchup. VJ Eshcombe is gonna have to hunt the Jalen Brunson matchup, and then Paul George. Now Paul George is gonna have his hands full because he's gonna be dealing with OG Ananobi. OG is one of the best defenders in the NBA, right? Sometimes he doesn't get recognized because the injuries that he deals with, so he's not able to make these defensive teams. But OG is definitely one of the best defenders in the league in terms of perimeter defense, and I mean also he does give you some interior presence as well. So all around, he's a very good defender. But Paul George has been playing very, very well. He's had some good games. He's had some bad ones too. Don't get me wrong. But against the Knicks, last season he had some of his best moments against them. Even though last season was a terrible season, he did have some success against them. Right now, the first matchup this season, he didn't really play too well. But I mean, I think Maxi, VJ, and those other guys, they did just as enough to help the Sixers win, right? In terms of scoring. But I think defensively, Paul George was there. Paul George was on OG Ananobi and played a huge reason why OG only scored 2 points. Which Thomas, speaking of Thomas, he was telling me that OG was a great scorer, but when he dropped 2 points against the Sixers, I didn't hear from you, right? And I kept quiet about it. But yeah, that's his goat. Man, Thomas be going crazy with this OG shit. But um yeah, I think defensively, Paul George played a very, very good game against them in the first matchup, but scoring wise, it just wasn't there. Now, whether it was an off night or OG doing something to bother him, I mean, who is to say, right? But in this one, I mean, Paul George is gonna have to go off, right? Now, when I say go off, I don't mean he should drop 30 plus points, which I mean he's capable of doing that, right? He's capable of doing that. How do we know he's capable of doing that? He's done that before, right? He's done that before. But in this one, if the Sixers are gonna win, Paul George is gonna have to step up huge for the Sixers as well. It's not, it doesn't have to be just Maxi and VJ and some of the other role players to go off, right? I think it's gonna have to be a collective effort. Um, offensively, right? It's gonna have to be a collective effort, and Paul George has to, he has to set the tone early. right? I think Maxi's gonna come out there. Maxi's gonna get his easy opportunities at the rim. He's gonna catch the offense, I mean the defense off guard, get to the rim, finish, or get a few passes to the corner, get some wide open shots for the Sixers. We know what Maxi's gonna do, right? But what is Paul George going to do? That's one of the biggest questions. In the last game, I think Paul George against the Dallas Mavericks, he had a good game, right? He had a good game on both sides of the floor. I mean, he had role player numbers. I think he finished with 14 or 15, but he did play a very very good game, right? On both sides of the floor. Defensively, offensively, he had a good game, right? But it's just that the performances from Maxi, from VJ Edgecombe and from Joel Embiid it kind of covered or overshadowed what he did in that game. But I think Paul George still played a good game, right? So Paul George is going to have to step up. Now, speaking of Joel Embiid, I don't know if he's going to play. I think last night they listed him as probable, so he's probably going to play tonight. But if the Sixers are going to win this one, I think the Sixers need to have Joel Embiid on the floor, right? Now, Joel Embiid has been playing good, right? He did the post game interview where he said to the reporters that he's starting to feel like his usual self. He's getting much healthier, and I think he's beginning to trust his body, right? He's beginning to trust the knee. He's beginning to have some confidence in his physical abilities, right? I think against the what you call it, against the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a game where he had that that play where he tried to lob it off the glass, catch it, and dunk it. But which was it was perfect. Like he lobbed it, he was able to catch it, but he wasn't able to get the finish. Which a lot of people were not happy with that play because Embiid did that same play a few seasons ago in the playoffs, and Embiid he was hobbled, right? He landed too awkward on that knee. He had to go to the back room, get it checked, and then come back in the game. And people didn't like that. But I mean, me seeing him do that, I felt like he's gaining a lot of confidence and a lot of trust in his body. And if he's able to do that, that means his body's is getting up there, right? In terms of the physical abilities that it's capable of doing. So, but yeah, Embiid has been playing very, very well. I think in the beginning of the season, it wasn't looking too good for him. But these last few games, I saw a stat that he's averaging like what 30 points per game in the last 3 or 4 games or whatever. So Embiid has been playing well, right? He has been playing well. Um, Maxi has been doing a very, very good job. Even though Maxi, he finds ways and means to get his 20 shots up, but he's able to also get Joel Embiid his touches, let Joel Embiid be a part of the offense, let Joel Embiid feed, let him eat in the post, right? Against the Dallas Mavericks, he was playing in the post, right? He did shoot some threes. Don't get me wrong, he did shoot some threes, but he was playing in the post a lot. When he had Daniel Gafford on him, he was in the post. When he had Anthony Davis on him, he was in the post. When he had PJ Washington on him, he was in the post. But Dallas was just doing a good job of putting two on the ball and just trying to get the ball out of his hands, right? So he's playing in the post like people want him to. His last few games, 39, 22, 27, 31, 34. Right? And the 39 came against the Indiana Pacers. I mean, the Pacers are not a good team. Okay, that's cool. But 22 against Atlanta, 27 against Brooklyn, 31 against Chicago, 34 against Memphis. Right? Against Memphis, he did had a good performance. Playing very, very well, playing very, very smart. Finding ways to get to the free throw line because Jaren Jackson Jr. Was not playing smart. Christopher Koloko was not playing smart. And Jaren Jackson he's a foul machine, right? He's definitely gonna pick up fouls if you're playing against him. So that's not shocking. He says, remember when they, yeah, I brought that up. I think like 2 weeks ago when I was doing the Sixers Knicks preview. I brought that up, and then Big Tone was on the platform, and then I told him and some of the Knicks fans that was in the chat. I told them that somebody was here comparing OG to Kobe, and they said I was capping, and I was like, "Yo, Tune In Sports was here. Y'all can go ask him." I'm not capping, but yeah, they tried. Yeah, that was that was a nastier shit. Oh my god. Yeah, but some of the Knicks fans, I mean, you can't deal with them, man. What they believe is what they believe. If he believes that OG's the next Kobe, you can't tell him nothing. Yeah. That was nasty work, but yeah, Knicks fans, they gonna pop their shit. They gonna pop their shit. They gonna do what they gonna do. But yeah, Embiid playing very very well. 34 against the Memphis Grizzlies. You know, that's the same game where he tried to he tried to lob it up the glass, and then a self alley oop like what LeBron did in the finals. But I think scoring wise, he's able to score. He's able to get to his spots. The pull up nitty is always available for him. No shot. I mean, contesting and beat shot. I mean, I still believe it's a good shot because his release point is very very high, and not just anybody can block it. Right. So we're definitely going to need Embiid in this one. The shot making ability, the gravity, the screen setting. Right. We're definitely going to need all that. That's something that the Sixers are going to need. But you know, another thing, Dominic Barlow, being the role player that he is, being the sneaky player that he is, being able to get offensive rebounds when people are not expecting his ability to run the floor and get those easy points in transition. Like Maxi really loves playing with Barlow because Barlow is just as fast as he is. I mean, maybe not as fast, but he's also fast. He's able to get up and down the floor very very quickly. And Barlow's very very young, so he got those young legs. Probably has about less than 10,000 miles on those legs. So he's able to get up and down the court with Maxi. So he's able to get easy opportunities himself. But in this one, his rebounding is definitely going to be needed. His ability to grab both defensive and offensive rebounds. His ability to run the floor, be in the dunker spot, cut timely. His timely cuts are very very necessary for this game, right? And sometimes when he makes those cuts, Joel Embiid is able to do a good job at finding them. Now against the Mavs, he had opportunities like that, but he just wasn't able to convert. Right, he wasn't able to convert, and then later on, he found himself in foul trouble, and that took away from what he was capable of doing in that game. Right, so we're definitely going to need all these guys, right? And then you go to the bench. Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes had a stretch where he was playing very 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 terrible. Whether he was starting or coming off the bench, right? It wasn't looking too good for him. He's averaging 15 on the season, like I said yesterday. But in those last few games, he was only averaging like 8 points or 9 points on 30% shooting. But going up against the Dallas Mavericks, the hometown, I don't even know if that's the hometown team. He had some good moments, making, shooting and making threes, getting to the basket, and also playing some good defense. He played some good defense on Cooper Flag, right? Play some good defense on Cooper Flag, and those, the defense was very, very effective. You know, last few games, 5 points, 6 points, 2 points, 1 for 9, nah, 2 for 9, 1 for 4, 4 for 14. It was just he was in a shooting slump, right? But against the Dallas Mavericks, he was able to, have a good game against them, shooting the 3 pointers very, very well. Um, his shot creation, is always going to be there. Creating opportunities for others is also going to be there too. But Quentin Grimes coming off the bench is definitely going to be huge for us, right? Because we need somebody to to also give you what Deuce McBride is going to give you, right? We need it to be a wash. Deuce McBride, Jordan Clarkson, and the rest of those other guys that come off the bench for the Knicks, right? Now, Deuce McBride did not play in the first matchup, but I believe he's going to play in the second one, right? I believe he's going to play in the second one, and it's not, it's going to be very, very difficult for the Sixers, right? It's going to be difficult for the Sixers. He says get in the post. uh, Salute to my guy White Square. Appreciate you, bro. Says hey DFJ, just tuning in. Did they release the injury report for both teams? I know Oubre and Trendon Watford are both out. Nah, but I mean, I saw on Keith Pompey's his Instagram that Joel Embiid is going to be probable, and I think everybody else is going to be available, but those two obviously are not going to play. But I think Joel Embiid will probably play. I mean, who knows? It might be a last minute decision, and they just pull him out. Pause. Who's been the most impressive off the bench so far? I mean, yeah, without a doubt, it's definitely Quentin Grimes. Right, he's been the most consistent. He's been the most. He's played in a lot of games. Right, he's not dealing with any injuries, so he's been the most consistent. He's been the most productive. Um, I don't think Jared McCain has an argument because he's dealt with injuries. He had his down moments when he first came back. A lot of terrible games, but um, overall, definitely Quentin Grimes and Andre Drummond. But Drummond he has good moments, whether starting or coming off the bench, right? So yeah, definitely Quentin Grimes. Salute to Vincent. He says the Knicks may be tired and the 76ers have fresher legs, still, but still going to be a battle, knowing our third and fourth fourth quarter mentality, which Nick Nurse and Embiid being available has helped immensely. Yeah, because the Knicks did play last night, right? The Knicks played last night, and like I said, it probably went to the wire. I don't know, but um, yeah, it's always going to be a battle, right? It's always going to be a battle. I mean, we're division rivals, so they're going to play the Sixers very very tough, right? Going to play the Sixers very very tough, no matter what. So the Sixers get cannot go into that matchup thinking that just because they played last night, they have the advantage because it's going to look terrible for them if they head into that game with that mindset. So, nah, it's definitely going to be tough. Definitely going to be tough. Cavaliers talk says Deuce is really good. Wouldn't mind having them on the squad. Yeah, Deuce McBride is very very a good rotation player. Now, I think a few seasons ago, I was making predictions that he might be in the six man conversations. But he hasn't been. But I think he definitely deserves to because he's very very productive coming off the bench. He says I just saw Beauchamp and Janan Broom are both out. Man, they not gonna play regardless. I don't even know why they signed Beauchamp because I mean the Sixers have because we got wings, right? We got wings on the team, right? Barlow, uh, Jabari Walker. Now I mean I know Trendon Watford is out, whatever, but yeah, Deuce is what I wanted Jared McCain to be, but Jared McCain is too soft to be that. I mean, I wouldn't say he's soft, but I think sometimes the injuries that he was dealing with, they definitely played a role in it, and him having to miss time to start off the season, and then coming into the season and then struggling the way he did. I think that the injuries definitely played a factor in it. Because I mean, last season he was playing well, he was playing fine. Now, I mean, he was also starting, so he had those moments where playing 30 plus minutes a night. I mean, some of those games he was the best player on the floor, right? So when you're the best player on the floor, you're guaranteed all the touches, all the shots, and he took full advantage of it, right? But now in a reduced role, you're telling them to come off the bench. You're giving them limited amount of touches, less shots. Yeah, it's definitely if you're not in any rhythm whatsoever, it's definitely going to be tough, right? If you're not in any rhythm whatsoever, it's going to be tough. So I think that's what he's dealing with. But I mean, he's had some good moments, right? He's had some good moments and some bad moments. But I think the bad moments are more than the good moments. But I think he's still trying to get back to his old self, his usual self. And I mean, maybe I said this yesterday. Maybe he just peaked too early in his rookie season, and yeah, maybe he peaked too early. Yeah, Imani Bates is still on the G League team. Nah, I don't call NBA players soft. So I definitely disagree with White square. I don't do that. I don't do that. Sorry. We need a 7-footer who could play defense and rebound, or a veteran point guard who is not too old. So a 7-footer who could play defense and rebound. I mean, do you have any names in mind? And a veteran point guard. I mean, are you trying to allude to Chris Paul? Because I might go off on you if you're trying to allude to Chris Paul or suggest that the Sixers get Chris Paul. Okay, you said who is not too old, so Chris Paul is off the table. Okay, good, got it. Yeah, I got it. So I mean, who's a veteran point guard on the market? I mean, that's not too old. I can't name any. I can't name any right now, but I mean the talks that the Sixers need a playmaker. I mean, I think Maxi does a good job playmaking. I mean, the Sixers don't only have one playmaker. The Sixers have a ton of playmakers. I think sometimes VJ Ashcombe is able to also play make when you put the ball in his hands. Late in those second quarters, late in those third quarters. I think he's able to he makes a lot of plays. Right, he makes a lot of plays. He's able to find guys at the 3-point line, and he's also able to find guys in the dunker spot, like Andre Drummond, like Adem Bona. So I think VJ does a good job playmaking. So I don't know if the Sixers necessarily need a playmaker like a veteran point guard. And also Paul George is also a capable playmaker in the half court. Now the only thing with Paul George is I don't want him bringing the ball up the court, especially in the clutch. Right? I don't want him bringing up the ball in the up the court. But if you able to advance the past half court and give it to him, I think Paul George is capable of dictating or making plays in the half court. Right? So you got those three. Now Quentin Grimes, coming off the bench, he does some playmaking. Right? He's able to play make too. Um, Jared McCain was, he was a good playmaker last season. I haven't seen that a lot this season. But last season, I mean, Jared McCain was doing I mean, not a great, but a good job at playmaking and also his ability to find his shots, whether it's at the rim, at the rim in the mid-range area or shooting the three. But this year, it's just been tough for him. And like I said this yesterday, second year players sometimes when they have good rookie seasons, their second year is a little bit rough, right? It's a little bit rough. It's a little bit up and down. And I use Jaime Jaquez from the Miami Heat as an example, right? Jaime Jaquez had a good rookie campaign, and in his second season it wasn't special, right? It wasn't special for him. You had some Heat fans, putting him on the trade him block. We got to get rid of him. We got to trade him. So I think maybe that's what Jared McCain is going through, right? In addition to the injuries that he suffered last season, right, with the knee thing and the what you call it, and the torn ligament in the thumb. Pause. uh, um, Salute to my guy Mitch Kovsky. Appreciate you, bro. What's good, Mitch? What's good? What's good? He says leave CP. Nah, because his comment was kind of alluding to Chris Paul, and I'm not. I don't even want to get on that. I don't want to get on them. It is what it is. He says I hate to say it, but Ben. Listen, it's a beautiful day. I don't want to get on Benny the Bust. He's doing his thing, fishing. Like let him go fish, go catch anything. But in terms of basketball, like bro, Benny the Bust is not gonna get on the Sixers and do anything positive or do anything good, right? So I don't think the Sixers necessarily need a point guard. I mean, bro, let's be real. We've had teams win championships without a true point guard or a traditional point guard, like the Boston Celtics. They won a chip, right? Did they have a traditional point guard? I don't think Drew Holiday is a traditional point guard, but they had guys on the team that are capable of making plays, are capable of playmaking, right? Jalen Brown is a capable playmaker. Jason Tatum is a capable playmaker. Derek White, Drew Holiday, like those guys are capable of making plays, and I think that's what matters the most: having guys who are capable of making plays, not just for themselves but for others on the team. Now having a traditional playmaker, yeah, that's good, but sometimes I think having guys that are capable of doing it also helps you. It also helps you a ton, right? I think Maxi's doing a good job at the playmaking. I mean, now he's not compared to some of the other playmakers or some of the other point guards in the league, right? Because he's a two guard in the point guard role, right? He's a two guard in the point guard role. So I mean, I still, I mean, where do the Sixers rank in assists? I think they should be top 20. They're probably top 20 for sure. I mean, I'm not sure. Y'all can look it up and tell me, but I think the Sixers are doing just fine when it comes to playmaking. Yeah, exactly. Salute to my guy Mitch. The Sixers don't need a true point guard. That's yeah. I don't think so. I don't believe in that either. I don't believe in that either. So yeah. But I mean, if you have a capable playmaker, that's cool. But like a traditional point guard, nah. He said Celtics had a starting five that was great on both sides of the ball. Exactly. Right. Exactly. They had two-way players. And they also had guys that can make plays too. So I mean, Jason Tatum was, averaging like what 7, 8 assists. Jalen Brown was giving you 5. Drew Holiday's giving you 5. I think Derek White was giving you 4 or 5. So yeah, and I think the Sixers have the same formula if you think about it. I mean, Maxi can get you 7, 6 or 7. VJ can get you 4 or 5. Paul George can get you 4 or 5. Joel Embiid, when he gets it on the block, I mean, sometimes he's able to make some good plays that lead to buckets, or sometimes pick up those hockey assists, right? So yeah, I think both. Yeah, that's definitely needed for sure. Vincent says if Embiid, Maxi, VJ, if Embiid, Maxi, VJ, and MVP gives us 57 to 70 points, I don't care if Paul George gives me 10. Nah, but we need Paul George though. We need Paul George because we can't keep relying on VJ Edgecombe because he's a rookie, right? What are the chances of your rookie being consistent all the way throughout? I think you'd have a better chance, relying on Paul George than VJ Edgecombe, right? And not to say VJ is not good. He is good, but he's still a rookie. He's never been in the playoffs before. Paul George has been there. Paul George has made deep postseason runs. Paul George knows what it takes to get to a conference finals, right? He knows what it takes to get past. He knows what playoff basketball means. He knows what playoff basketball looks like, right? So but I think at this point, anything that VJ gives you, like it's he's playing way beyond, like he's playing way better than a rookie should be playing. Like he's much better than your typical rookie. But Paul George should be the guy we're relying upon, right? From the third option point of view, right? So yeah. He says maybe we should call up Jared Butler or Shake Milton then. I wanted McCain to be the point guard, but he's better off the ball. Yeah, Jared McCain is way better off the ball. I mean, sometimes on the ball, he's able to make some good plays, but he's just not consistent with it, right? The consistency is just not there. And I mean, maybe, he deserves to, have a starting role and, play 30 plus minutes before you can see how good he is as a playmaker, right? Sometimes, you put guys you tell guys to come off the bench and you give them a limited role and limited minutes, their impact or their value is not clearly seen, right? It's not that visible. But I mean, Quentin Grimes has been doing a good job, but Jared McCain, if he continues to play this way, I think the Sixers probably move him at the trade deadline, right? I think if he continues to be up and down, the Sixers will probably move him at the trade deadline, which is crazy because after his rookie season, like he was like a fan favorite, right? But I mean, maybe the Sixers don't give up on him. Maybe the Sixers, try it for the next season and see what he looks like in his third season, and maybe it's something completely different. I mean, who knows, right? But let me focus on other things in this game right here. Number one, rebounding, 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 rebounding. For the last 2 years or last 3 years, 3 seasons or whatever, the Knicks have been kicking the Sixers' ass on the glass on a game to game basis or on a night to night basis. They always demolish the Sixers on the glass. Rebounding has been something that I've always talked about on this platform. Rebounding, 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 right? Whether it's Josh Hart starting at the top of the key when the shot goes up and then finding his way, running all the way running all the way towards the rim and then grabbing the rebounds with nobody putting a body on them, nobody checking them. Because I mean, let's be real. Nobody's gonna box you out at the top of the key, right? And it's not that common for the rebound to find you at the top of the key every time. But Josh Hart is very very smart. He starts at the top of the key when the shot goes up, and then he'll run towards the basket and then you might be trying to take your time trying to get the ball or trying to let the ball come to you, but he'll just run over and just grab it and then give the Knicks a second chance opportunity to score. Right now, the rebounding in the previous game, it was terrible. Right, it was terrible. Josh Hart, I think, had double digit rebounds. Carl Anthony Towns, I think, had double digit rebounds. And then you had Mitchell Robinson also coming off the bench, grabbing double digit rebounds. Right? Smash the like button. Yeah, smash the like button as y'all come in and knows how to lead a team. Who are you talking about? He says Scoot Henderson for Jared McCain is an even swap. Y'all done with Jared? No, I'm not done. I mean, but his second year has been a little bit shaky, and I wouldn't be surprised. I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers move him. Me personally, I'm not. I don't. If I'm the GM, if I'm Daryl Moore, I'm not trading him. But I wouldn't be surprised if they move him. Now, there's other guys on the team that I think will be moved, which I'm gonna talk about in the future live on a future show. But yes, sir, smash that like button. But yeah, let me get back to it. The rebounding has been something that the Knicks always get over the Sixers. Now, the last game, the Knicks dominated the Sixers on the glass, right? But one thing that saved the Sixers was that for number one, they didn't turn the ball over as much, and number two, they were making the threes. As the Knicks, they were turning the ball over and they were not able to make or hit their threes, right? They shot, I think, below 40% from the 3 point line, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, they were eight for 32 from the three. So that's about 24, 25%, right? And on the turnover side, they had a lot of turnovers too. I mean, the 76ers had 10 and they had 18. Right. So that helped the Sixers. It helped them, it kind of helped them. Right. Otherwise the Knicks would have won that game. So in this one tonight, the Sixers are going to have to focus on the rebounding and the Sixers are going to have to make their shots. Now, I don't know if Joel Embiid is going to play, but if Joel Embiid plays, now Embiid has been given much better effort on the glass as of recently. Um, his rebounding numbers. I dared him to grab double digit rebounds. He did that against the Memphis Grizzlies, which he probably in that Grizzlies game, he probably wouldn't have gotten probably wouldn't have gotten double digit rebounds. There was a play where he got, I think, 5 rebounds in a row, right? Tipping the ball up to himself, the Bill Russell shit, right? And that's how he was able to pad his rebounding numbers up and eventually got to double digits. But if we're gonna take the Knicks down again, the Sixers are gonna have to get on those rebounds because what's the chances that the Knicks shoot 8 for 32 from the 3 point line again? What's the chances that the Knicks turn the ball over as much as they did, right? But if you can control the glass, if you can be disciplined, if you can be disciplined and get on those rebounds, if you can be disciplined attacking the mismatches, if you can be disciplined following the game plan, right? And that goes for everybody. It goes for Maxi, Embiid, Paul George, Edgecombe, guys off the bench. It goes to everybody, right? We're gonna have to play team basketball if we're gonna take down the Knicks, right? Rebound by committee, score by committee, play make for each other, right? If somebody is in the wrong spot, somebody has to communicate and let people know where they're supposed to be, right? Maxi, if you're gonna be the floor general, you're gonna have to direct traffic sometimes, right? You're gonna have to tell guys where they should be at in certain moments of the game, right? And by team effort, we can take down the Knicks. Now the Knicks are still gonna play hard. Pause. They're still gonna play tough. They're not gonna give up, even though it's a back to back. They're still gonna play very very. They're still gonna play strong from start to finish, right? Talking about PG, when you was talking about the playoffs for the six. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's another. Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying. That's another point. Right. Paul George has led a team, but VJ is a rookie, so relying upon a rookie is not. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. But the Sixers are gonna have to, get on the glass, get on the rebounds. Because if the Knicks grab more rebounds than the Sixers in this matchup, if it's 10 or more, I don't think the Sixers are winning this one. Right? I don't think the Sixers are gonna win this one. Right? The last matchup, they had 57. The 76ers only grabbed 36. Right? So they grabbed 20 or more rebounds than the Sixers in the last matchup. Right? 20 or more. If that happens again, I don't think the Sixers win that. So the Sixers have to get on the glass. Embiid. Now I know Drummond is definitely going to get on the glass. Dominic Barlow is definitely going to get on the glass. VJ sometimes he's able to pull 5, 6, maybe 7. Paul George sometimes when he's in the right position, he's able to grab rebounds. Now salute the Maxi. Maxi has been getting on the rebounds as well. I think the last game he was 2 rebounds shy from getting a triple double. So salute to him, being one of the smallest guy on the court, and still getting rebounds. Right? He grabbed more rebounds than Joel Embiid. Right? And Embiid is a 7-footer. So the Sixers have to get on the glass. If you don't, the Knicks will probably win this one. Right? The Knicks will probably win this one. So that's number one. Number two, the Sixers have to find a way to contain Jalen Brunson. Now, in the last matchup, VJ Edgecombe did a fantastic job checking Jalen Brunson. His ability to stay in front of him, his ability to be disciplined and not go up for all those pump fakes that Jalen Brunson be going for, right? His ability to maneuver through screens and still stick with Jalen Brunson, right? That was a very, very good defensive performance from VJ, from a rookie on a very talented and great scorer in this era of Jalen Brunson's caliber. I don't know why I keep trying to say Jalen Brown. Right? Jalen Brunson was 7 for 22 in the last matchup. Right? 1 for 7 from the three. Now it's not I don't think he goes 1 for 7 from the 3-point line again. It might be something completely different in this matchup. But I think the Sixers have to check him, right? So VJ is going to have to do a very, very good job on Jalen Brunson. Now, in the past, I did suggest that Maxi starts on Jalen Brunson, and then take the responsibility as well. But and I still believe that Maxi should start on him, right? Maxi should definitely start on him, and Maxi has been good, grabbing steals. I think he's third in steals this season. So he's gambling. Some of those steals are gambles. Let's be real. He says Brunson will still get 20 plus. Yeah, that's true because he's guaranteed 20 shots a night. But if you're taking 22 shots, I mean, if you're taking 22 shots to get 22 points, which is literally what he did in the last matchup. I mean, I think as a team, you did your job. As a defender, you did your job, right? You took 22 shots to get 22 points, right? And you got to the free throw line 7 or 8 times. So as a defender, you did your job. So if that's what it's going to be tonight, I think the Sixers would definitely take that, right? You would definitely take that. But it has to be a collective effort, right? It has to be a collective effort. And with Mikal Bridges, if VJ is going to check Jalen Brunson, that means Maxey's going to be checking Mikal Bridges. And Mikal Bridges, has a knack for dominating little guys. Pause. Oh man, he has he's always winning the matchup when he's going up against guards like little guards because he's playing the two guard, right? He's playing the two guard, and being guarded by a guy 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", when he's 6'7", 6'8", 9 times out of 10 he's going to win that matchup, right? So Mikal Bridges definitely capable of going off. He is always going off on the 76. Yeah, I did say pause, bro. I did say pause. Oh my god. Yeah, but Mikal Bridges definitely going to be a huge problem. Jalen, Josh Hart with the rebounding. He's a triple double. He's a triple double threat too, right? He gets it off the rebound and then he pushes in transition, and the Knicks are able to get easy opportunities that way. And Josh Hart is he's very very fast, right? He's very very fast. People don't talk about how good he is in transition, but Josh Hart is very very fast, right? So the Sixers are going to have to get back on defense. The transition defense has to be very very good to win this one. Um, yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is going to shoot threes. He's going to jack up threes. If Embiid is going to be playing, it's going to be very, very difficult for Embiid, right? Because Embiid wants to be closer to the basket and be a rim protector, right? Embiid is not very, very good when you pull him to the 3-point line. I mean, the same thing goes for Karl Anthony Towns, right? But I felt like the game against the Mavs, I think Embiid played some good defense on Anthony Davis. But I mean, Anthony Davis is different from Karl Anthony Towns. Anthony Davis is going to be in the post. He's going to jab. He's going to pump fake, take a dribble or two, get to the basket, or shoot the pull up midi. But Karl Anthony Towns is not doing that. Karl Anthony Towns he's going to be at the 3-point line. He's going to jack up threes. Sometimes he's going to get in the post. But if Embiid is going to be playing, Karl Anthony Towns is not going to be in the post. I don't think so. Right? He's going to play at the top of the key area. He's going to set screens. He's going to roll to the basket. He's going to pop to the 3-point line in order to shoot threes. Right? So I think Embiid is going to have to play a smart. Right? He has to play a smart, and pick your poison. If you want him to shoot threes, all right, let him shoot it. Let him shoot them. But I think that would be a recipe for disaster because if he gets confident from the 3-point line, if he gets into a rhythm at the 3-point line, it's definitely going to be a long night. Karl Anthony Towns is better than Joel Embiid. Okay. All right, bro. But I tell you who's not better than Joel Embiid. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Those two are not better than Embiid. Right? Those two guys are not better than him. So uh oh man. But I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, he made the All-Star team, made the All-NBA team last year, and B barely played, dealt with injuries for the whole year. So if you say he's better than him, I mean, I'm not okay. That's cool. I can get with that. I can get with that logic, right? I can get with that logic. So, um, yeah, defensively, the Sixers are gonna have to keep those guys in check. And then with the guys coming off the bench too, the Deuce McBrides, the what you call it, Jordan Clarkson and all those guys. I don't know if Yabu's going to be playing. Yabu fell out the rotation, didn't really fit too well with the Knicks. His name is being brought up in trade talks and all that. But I want him to play, right? I want him to play. I want him to play. So, man, BJ, funny. You didn't have to, yeah. But no, I had to. I had to. Who made All NBA last year? Um, is he gonna make it this year? Because I told you it was a fluke, right? I told you it was a fluke. So, but yeah. Last thing before I get up out of here, the Knicks are gonna be playing very, very strong from start to finish, right? Because they lost the last two games. They lost to the Spurs and they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. So against the Sixers, they're definitely they're definitely gonna want to take this one. Especially with the Sixers beating them in the first matchup, right? They're gonna want to get their revenge. And I think the Sixers are. I mean, they're playing some good basketball. They ended off the year with a victory. They started off with a victory as well. Started 2026 with a victory. So I think it should be that way. Take it one game at a time, a quarter at a time. Now I've said this before. I say it again. I don't care if they struggle in the third, right? I don't care if they struggle in the third. Basketball is a game of runs, right? And just because a team scores two more points or three more points than you in the third, that doesn't mean that the Sixers are in trouble, right? Because sometimes the Sixers, teams go into the half, they make adjustments, they come out in the third and they execute it, right? So then it's up to the Sixers to, make their adjustments, right? Make their adjustments and then head into the fourth and then execute the game plan. So I'm not worried. I'm not, I'm not going to be anxious. I'm not going to be worried when the Sixers don't score enough in the third, or they score like three less points than. So yeah, Evan Mobley when I told you he's a bum. He probably wouldn't even make the All Star team. Knicks are better at home. Now, just because they beat y'all on Christmas doesn't mean they're better at home. Like I told you, we ended their winning streak at home. We beat them first, and then Atlanta went in there last night and gave them the belt again. So now I'm not guaranteeing the Sixers a victory, but if they play it well, they should win it. If they play it well, they should win. But yeah, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover with the Jalen Brunson thing, the Mikal Bridges aspect, the Karl Anthony Towns aspect. I mean, OG might be somebody who you might not expect to go off, and then next thing you know, he drops like a 20-point game, right? Getting opportunities in transition, or sometimes hitting open threes, right? So he's somebody that the Sixers cannot overlook. So everybody has to be in check. Everybody's gonna have to be in check, and the defense, don't take anybody for granted, right? Don't take anybody for granted. Anybody can make anything happen, right? Even Josh Hart, Josh Hart might fuck around and have a 30-point, a 30-point triple double, right? He might fuck around and start making his open threes, get into the basket, getting offensive rebounds, and getting the crowd hyped up. Yeah, I know you do, bro. As you should, right? As you should. The Knicks beat you on Christmas, and you want them to win, bro. That's nasty. But nah, it's all good, bro. It's all good. But if the Sixers can force them to pick up their third loss, that'd be huge for the Sixers as well, because you've beaten the second seed twice, right? You've beaten them twice. So that can definitely do something great for the Sixers, because the Sixers have a tough schedule in the month of January. So the Sixers are gonna have to, any victory they can get, they're gonna have to take it. Right? Any victory they get, they're gonna have to take it. So they play the Knicks and then they play Denver on January. Speaking of Denver, Jokic went down with the knee injury. He's gonna be out for about a month. So wishing him a speedy recovery. Um, yeah, it's just tough, man. Injuries is just it's just tough, bro. They beat y'all twice already. They beat y'all on opening night and they beat y'all on Christmas. On opening night they gave y'all the belt, and then on Christmas they gave y'all the belt again. Now Donovan Mitchell was fighting. He was trying to make something happen at the end of the game. He shot that wild three that went in. Pause. And he tried, but Evan Mobley being a bum, Evan Mobley came off the bench in that game. Told you he's a bum. What player that wins DPOY, that makes the All Star team, that makes the All NBA team, comes off the bench? I'll wait. What player that wins DPOY, makes the All NBA team, All Defensive team, all the accolades? What player does that and then the next season comes off the bench? Bro, I'm gonna keep the same energy always, bro. Always. I ain't scared of the Cavs, bro. I'm not scared of the Cavs. Now y'all beat us one time. That's cute, right? That's cool. Y'all beat us one time. That's cool. Mobley was hurt, bro. Bro. Embiid has been hurt, but he still starts. What does that mean? Jokic is hurt. When he comes back, he's not coming off the bench. Great players don't come off the bench, bro. In their prime, or when they're about to enter their prime, they don't come off the bench, injured or not injured. So I don't want to hear that. Zubac is hurt. When he comes back, he's not going to come off the bench. He's going to start. So stop making excuses for this bum. He came off the bench on Christmas. Oh my goodness. Tune, you gotta cut it out, bro. Just stop. But if I'm to make predictions, I think the Sixers win 118 to 111. All right, that's me being generous. 118 to 111. If they don't, that's cool. I made a prediction. Predictions can be right, predictions can be wrong. Or maybe they'll win, but the score is not going to be the same. But I'm predicting a Sixers victory. Yes. And just because the Cavs cannot beat the Knicks doesn't mean the Sixers can't beat the Knicks. So, yeah, and we definitely, we play all this month. Um on and back to back actually. January 14th, January 16th. Yeah, those are good games on a Wednesday night and on a Friday night. Those are good games. So definitely looking forward to it. But the Knicks fans are gonna be Knicks fans. I mean, win, lose or draw, they're gonna be here. They're gonna pop their chest, right? They're gonna act like they've won championships in the last 10 years, right? Even though they haven't won since 1970, whatever, 72, 73, or whatever. But they act like they've won championships. They act like they're Golden State. And Golden State has 4 championships in the last 10 years. But you don't see them Warrior fans, you know. You don't see them acting that way. But yeah, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Mitchell Robinson, hopefully he can play. Hopefully Joel Embiid plays, right? Because the narrative is that Joel Embiid only plays against terrible teams. So let's see if he can keep the same energy against the second seeded New York Knicks tonight. Knicks got one more championship than Cleveland. Keep that in mind. Yeah, that's true. And they've been in the league since the 40s. The Knicks and the Celtics are two of the oldest teams in the NBA. And the Knicks only got 2 championships. Man, that's funny, bro. You've been in the league since the 40s and you only got 2 championships. Wow. But when you listen to them, it's like they got sick. They talk like they on the same level as the Celtics. I mean, it's a damn shame. Just because they got out the second round for the first time in the 21st century, they made the conference finals, and they think everything's. They think they just won a championship. That's just funny, bro. Dorilla says we getting one this year. With the Clippers. Now I did say that the Clippers were not making the playoffs, right? I made that take. But now I don't even know if I still feel that way because Chris Paul is not on the team anymore. And I made that take solely because Chris Paul was on the roster. So I don't know if I still feel that way. But I mean they're playing good basketball. I mean, winning 6 or 7, 8 in a row or whatever. I mean, BJ, Kawhi Leonard's a top 5 player. Yeah, I mean, BJ's sad, bro. Yeah, they did. They did, bro. They did have a head start. And then almost every other team lapped them. Golden State lapped them. The Spurs lapped them. The 76ers lapped them. The what other teams won the 3 championships? A lot of teams. Detroit. Yeah, Detroit been in the league for a long time too. They was the Fort Wayne Pistons, or yeah, they came in the 50s. Yeah, it's sad. The Lakers lapped them. Almost everybody lapped them because you was being a fanboy, right? You was being a fanboy. You thought the Clippers they had what it, but nah, bro. They signed up, but guess what though? I'm always right because I think a few months ago I made a take that any team that Chris Paul plays for, when they get rid of Chris Paul, they start being better, right? Golden State, when Chris Paul was on Golden State, now the biggest narrative that y'all always want to push is that Chris Paul elevates teams. Okay, cool, no problem. But Golden State, he was on Golden State in 2024. Golden State missed the playoffs. The next year, when he was not on the Warriors, they made the playoffs. He was on the Spurs last season. Last season, they didn't make the playoffs. This year, the Spurs are the second seed in the Western Conference, right? And then just this season, he was on the Clippers. The Clippers were one of the terrible teams in the NBA. The Clippers get rid of him, and they win 6, 7, or maybe 8 in a row. So what does that tell you about Chris Paul? But I know what y'all gonna say. Oh, you hate Chris Paul, you this, you that. But what I'm saying is facts. What I'm saying is the truth. Now it does count. Now we're not doing that. The Warriors thing does count. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Nah, it does count. So just be real. When I speak, don't call me a hater. Just listen to what I'm saying, man. Just listen to what I'm saying. That's all I'm asking for. But yeah, Clippers playing good. You get rid of Chris Paul, your team becomes good. Right? The Clippers are they on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 game winning streak. And they're beating some good teams. They beat the Lakers, they beat the Rockets, they beat Detroit, where Kawhi Leonard was going bananas. Right? Kawhi Leonard was going crazy against them. So yeah, that's you get rid of that bum, your team starts to perform better. And it is what it is. I know the Chris Paul fanboys, they go, you know, but it is what it is. He's a bum. Tell him to retire. So the Clippers. I mean, I don't know because like I made the take because Chris Paul was on the team, so I don't know if I still feel that way, but I'm gonna still stick with they not making the playoffs. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna switch in the middle of the season, bro. Y'all should stop saying that. They didn't do Chris Paul no dirty, bro. They got rid of him, which he wasn't even supposed to be on the team in the first place. So they did a good job. They took Lawrence Frank in the front office. They took charge of their franchise and got rid of that black hole. They didn't do him dirty, bro. He's not Kobe. I don't know why y'all think he's Kobe. He's not Kobe. He's not LeBron. He's not Steph Curry. He's not getting no farewell tour. He's not Kobe, bro. Bro, he's not on that level to get a farewell tour. What are you talking about? He's not LeBron. He's not Curry. He's not KD. He's not any of those players. He's not. He's not on that level. So no, you don't get no farewell tour, bro. But let me get up, bro, because I'm going down a path that oh, I might piss off a lot of people, but man, I don't care. I don't care, but yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Salute to the Realist. Salute to Tune In Sports or Cavaliers Talk. I should definitely. Hey, BJ, go sub to that channel, bro. Go sub to that channel, bro. But White Square was here. Vincent was in here. You know, BJ definitely always in here showing love. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna definitely do the post game reaction tomorrow, covering the game, win, lose or draw. I'm gonna definitely be here. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Hey, Tune In Sports, your favorite. Go Sixers.